Hi, my name is Terrencia Lee, and I'm a student at Texas Southern University. I'm here with the journalism professor, Professor Berryhill. Today we're going to be talking to him about the journalism industry and his experiences. How are you doing today, Berryhill?
I'm fine.
Okay, so my first question is, you have worked in the journalism field and you've done pretty much everything. What is it like being in that kind of environment?
Well, the thing about being a reporter is you've got to like people.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to understand how to relate to people and get people to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the big transition for me when I left academia and became a reporter at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. And one of the first stories they asked me to do was the obituary of a 14-year-old boy who had died mysteriously. And all I had to do was call a grieving family and find out if there was anything interesting about this boy that might merit a story. And that scared the hell out of me. But I made the phone call, and I got very lucky because the family was at the funeral home making arrangements, and I talked to the neighbor. And the neighbor told me, well, this boy was a wonderful musician. He was in the school band. He was also a science fair. The next thing I learned was that people want to tell their stories.
Yeah.
They wanted this boy to be remembered. And so I wrote the story, sad story. He just died of a fever and no one really knew what happened. He got sick and 3 days later he was dead. And so I turned in the story and they ran it on the front page, and I was astonished. And then the best news was they paid me to do it.
Yeah,
I said, this is cool.
Like two wins.
Yeah, this is cool. I always thought I was going to teach for a living and keep my writing pure.
Yeah.
And then I learned I could write for a living and keep my teaching pure. So what I teach students is things I learned on the job.
Yeah.
Things. It's taken me years to accumulate a kind of sense of how you do this wonderful, amazing thing we call journalism.
So when you're teaching your students, because I do take your class, what is it that you want them to understand about going into the field?
Professionalism. You have to handle yourself really well because people are judging you. I mean, from your resume, but the first thing they judge you on is your writing, your professional examples of your professional work. And if those are weak, if the words are misspelled, if there's grammar mistakes, if it's not carefully done, that shows an employer who you are.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think editing is such an important class. All of the classes are important, but editing is really important. And it's a kind of slog to make something really, really good. It's tedious.
Yeah.
It's not exactly a lot of fun.
No, it's not.
No. But somehow you got to get that mindset. It's like the fun part is talking to people and getting the story and figuring the story out. And the tedious part is making it as good as you can possibly make it.
Yeah. So what is it that made you go back to teaching and leave the journalism field? Because you were teaching and then you did journalism and now you're back teaching. What?
Well, when I was young, I got my doctorate, and really pretty much fresh out of college. And I always conceived of having a doctorate as kind of a union card to teach. And I always figured near the end of my career I'd come back after I'd learned something and done something.
Yeah.
And just an opening became available, and I was between jobs, and I had left Texas Parks and Wildlife magazine after a couple of years as editor there, and a job, and I freelanced for a while, and then this job came open at University of Houston, and I was on my way. Actually, Dr. Ward had tried to recruit me in 2002, but things didn't work out, and we couldn't do it. So I went to work for Texas Parks and Wildlife magazine, and so then he recruited me from U of H. So that's how that worked. I was there for 4 years, and I'm now in my 5th year at TSU.
TSU, good old TSU.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I do. I enjoy the students so much.
Well, we enjoy you too, and thank you so much for the interview.